Hey everybody, it's Justin from Bittner Built, and I get asked all the time, what is the best laser engraver for me to get into? This is definitely a beginner question. Somebody who might not be super educated on the differences between laser engravers, especially in the hobbyist, small business, intermediate realm. So I thought, let me make a video that kind of answers this and also talks about the small business aspects of these machines. You might be buying one of these machines just for your own purposes, and that's great, but a lot of people are looking to it for a side business, a side hustle, or even starting their own small business around it or supported by it. So I want to talk about some different machines. Now, I have a lot of different machines from a lot of different companies. I've done a lot of different videos on laser engraving, but I do own all of the xTool lineup, so I figure I'm going to focus on that today. P2S, S1, F1, F1 Ultra, M1 Ultra. So all of the ones that are currently available for sale. All of them are different, and all of them have different business specialties. So let's kind of dive into each one of these machines, look at the differences, and also kind of look at the focuses that each one of those would have on your small business. Today on Bittner Built. So when it comes to laser engravers, there are so many different use cases. I like to do a lot of woodworking with mine. I have friends who do crafting. I have other friends, they predominantly go to shows, and so they need a small portable machine. And so what I'm going to do is go through each one of these machines. I'll give you a stat sheet at the beginning of each one. That way you can compare all the fine details. But we'll take a look at what makes them unique. But I have a lot of friends that have laser businesses that do this professionally to make money, in addition to all the stuff I do, of course. And so for each one of these machines, I'm going to highlight one of my different friends that use it and what their use case is for it, because there's a lot of different ways that you can approach laser engraving, and each one of these machines have their own individual kind of target audience, if you will. So let's get into all these lasers. So this is the F1. This is the smallest of the xTool lasers. It has a very small footprint. It's under 10 pounds, which is impressive. I can pick it up with my pinky. So if size is not your thing, but portability is, this is definitely a machine that you can take a look at. Now, this machine is a dual laser. So it has both a diode laser and it also has an infrared laser. This is lower power than a fiber, but it is a laser that will be able to mark different metals for you. So this machine does give you a wider array than a typical diode-only laser does as far as the materials you're able to produce with it. Now, this machine is a galvo, and so there's two different types primarily of laser form factors. One is a gantry style laser, which we'll show you in a minute. And then the other is a galvo. And a galvo basically is one lens right here that has a mirror behind it. And that mirror moves really fast to redirect your laser without anything having to move around. It's just moving a mirror really quickly. So that means that this machine is incredibly fast at 4,000 MMS. Some of our other machines on this lineup are only 400 or 600 MMS. So this is 10 times faster than some of those. So if you are having a customer wait for an order directly in front of you, if you're at a store or you're at a street fair or something, this is going to be able to perform engravings much faster than those other types of machines are. Additionally, because you saw me take out this base plate here, you can also literally hold this up to things and engrave in place. So you're not going to be able to do that with any of the other lasers in this lineup. That's pretty cool, especially, I mean, it could be a size that could never fit inside of one of the other laser engravers, but you are able to hold it there and do some sort of engraving on it. So that's really cool. From a business perspective, my friends Mikey and Jordan, they own the Curious Bison in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It's an actual physical retail store, and most of the products that are sold in there are laser engraved. Now, in their store, what they do is they have this F1 directly at the counter at the register when you're checking out. So they have things in the store like a make your own hat bar. And so someone will grab their own hat, they'll grab a patch, come over to the register. And so on this small space, a hat patch is easily going to fit. They're going to be able to put this down, close the lid, and quickly engrave directly in front of the customer. That gives, in addition to the purchase, it gives them a entertainment experience while they're there. And since when this is down, they're fully protected, nobody has to wear goggles or anything. It's awesome. So for them, they started off by charging $5 for custom engravings and $2 for other small, like sign namings on there. And so they told me that they paid off this machine super, super quick inside their store. And since it's small and compact, it stays out of the way. They have bigger machines in the back, of course, where they kind of do their batch processing for a lot of this stuff that they have for sale in the store. They also do street fairs a lot, so this goes with them when they're out there. And the 4000 MMS means that they're able to engrave things very quickly. So while for some people its size might be a negative, for other people this one could be a huge positive, especially considering the speed that this machine has. Now, if this is my only laser that I have, I would definitely take a look at this sliding accessory that xTool makes for it, because what we're able to do is place this inside, and now we can, we still have that 115 millimeter restriction as far as depth goes, but now we can actually place a longer item that will slide on here. So also still a very portable, compact item that's not too heavy, so you could definitely take this to a show as well. Next, we enter the crafting realm with the M1 Ultra. This is very much the Swiss Army knife for the xTool lineup. The big reason for that is because it has so many capabilities that are built into one machine. It can easily have modules switch in and out. The S1 also has modules, but not to this degree in here and so easy. So literally I can just flip a lever and pull a laser module out, and then just place a vinyl cutter module right in here, flip the leather, and it's ready to go. So that's really awesome. For crafters, you might not always have the biggest space. Like I have a big 2-car garage in here that I spread out with. So space could be definitely an issue, as well as having multiple machines out might not be what you want. So this machine easily replaces like a vinyl cutting machine because it has that capability. You can use pens in here and it'll draw on things for you. It obviously has a laser in here, and then it also has a inkjet printer that you can place in here, and it'll actually print directly on physical objects. This is the cheapest laser in xTool's lineup, so you can get this for under $1,000 when it's on sale, so that's a big positive there. It comes in a 10 and 20 watt module. Honestly, I would always spend the extra money to get the 20 watt. 10 watt to me is just a little too low. A 20 watt will do a very, very good job in engraving, and it will also give you some cutting capabilities compared to a 10 watt, which really you don't have very many cutting capabilities, and it's going to be a lot slower of a machine in order to obtain the engravings that you want. Now, my friend Georgia, she is a YouTuber as well. She has the channel Fierce Kittens. She likes the M1 Ultra for those reasons that I was just saying, because I kind of gravitate towards the P2S. For me, I do a lot of wood stuff. But Georgia was telling me, she's like, oh no, I love this machine. It is really easy for me to swap out things. She finally did get rid of her vinyl cutter that everybody has because it had that functionality in this machine, and she liked the software for this better, which is key too. The F1, or I'm sorry, the xTool software is very quality, well-built software. It's one of the reasons why I like their platform. It's very easy to use. You have detachable fan with ducting on here that you can place in either direction, so it's easier for you to figure out how to set this up inside your home, but you obviously don't even need that unless you're using the laser engraver part, so you can keep the machine quiet the rest of the time if you don't want to have that on. So this is a capable machine. She was telling me that she just ran 100 tumbler silicone booties on there that she engraved directly on there, so it can be a workhorse. It's a nice size, it's a nice price, what's not to love? So if you're looking for a beginner machine and you're more heavily into the crafts, this is definitely something you should take a look at. Next we have the S1, and the S1 is actually the first xTool laser that I ever had my hands on. And for me, this is very much the best entry beginner laser that you could get, with the exception of if your focus is more on crafts, of course. What I really like about this machine is it's half the price of the top tier units like the F1 Ultra and the P2S. But it's still incredibly capable. It has a bed size of 19.5 by 12.5, so you can put fairly large pieces of material in here. It has modularity though, and that's what's really interesting. So I currently have this on a riser base right here. So whenever you have a riser base, you have the capability of adding a conveyor system to this. So you can have material that's 18.5 inches by however long you want feed through here continuously. So this has opened you up to a lot larger material that you can utilize. It has different modules as far as the laser goes. So this comes in a 10, 20, 40 watt module, and then it also has a 2 watt infrared, just like the F1 has. So this gives you the capability of marking on metals. It will not cut, but it will at least give you some marking abilities there. So this machine can use all the materials that the P2S can, except for glass and acrylic. It has some power, the 40 watt model, which I feel is the laser that I gravitate towards with this one the most. Has a decent cutting ability. You can get through 1/2 inch pine plywood pretty easily with this. And it has a large bed size. It has a lot of things that I'm interested in. Again, your interests might vary, but for the price point, I think that this is a pretty comprehensive machine. Now, my friend Kiouki, she is an artist, a maker. She makes instructional videos. She lives in Germany, and she uses the S because it gives precision. So she owns all of the xTool lasers as well, and she'll primarily go over to the P2S since she owns it for a lot of things. But when precision is critically important, this is the machine that she goes to. And that's because with this machine, while it doesn't have a camera system, it does have a laser positioning system where you move this laser head around to specifically position it on your material and map it. I've done lots of tests for this on other videos versus some other machines out there, and this is an incredibly highly accurate machine at all points and positions inside its bed. So that's a huge benefit if you are making very intricate artwork, very intricate cuts with this machine. It's something that you want to think about in your decision-making process. So this is the F1 Ultra, and for all of these machines, I've been telling you about my friends that own businesses that utilize their lasers. Well, this one is my favorite laser. This is what I use to make money. If it fits inside this machine, I'm using this machine every single time, and a big part of that is how fast it is. It is 10,000 MMS. If it doesn't fit in here, I usually go to my P2S. That one is only 600 MMS, so this is just screaming fast in comparison. It is a dual laser as well, so it has a 20 watt diode and fiber laser, and this is a true fiber laser, so I can actually get deep engravings and even cut certain thin materials that are metal on here as well. For me, my sons are actually on the U.S. National Wushu Kung Fu team, and so whenever they get a medal, I typically put their name, event, and their score directly on it because they literally have hundreds of these from all their exploits, and eventually you just don't know what they're for anymore. So I started engraving them. Well, guess what? That is laser as a service. So now I actually go to their Kung Fu events, set up a table, and people can come over, and for a fee I will engrave their medals for them. Now, being that this machine is so fast, it only takes about 10 seconds to do this engraving to a level that you can feel it with your finger. It's never going to get rubbed off or anything. I obviously don't want to waste time, so I'm trying to do it as fast as I can while resulting in a good product. And so it actually takes me longer to type in the information in the computer than it will for the action to complete right here. And that's important because if I'm at an event with 4,000 people, but I'm only there for about 8 hours that day, I need to just crank through as many of these as I possibly can. Time is money in this essence, and so this takes the least amount of time to do what I want. I'll typically take multiples of these with me to an event like that. I really also like too that this has a touch screen. So I can save my files directly on this touch screen, draw them up here, and actually hit print. No computer required whatsoever. So that makes it advantageous for people who do the same project many different times, but you want to be able to make it on demand in front of your customer, maybe at a craft show or something. And so this definitely has those possibilities. This is one of the most expensive lasers on the lineup. It's around $4,000, but the capabilities that it has are really impressive, and I just love the speed. I mean, that's really what it comes down to for me. I love to be able to just watch things just peel away. On peeling away, you can use this to remove rust from tools. Fiber lasers will just evaporate it right in front of your eyes. I've done videos on how you can look at these types of lasers as laser for hire. Think of yourself as a service instead of I make this item and sell it. More like I have a laser, what would you like for me to do for you? So make sure you go check out those videos as well, because that kind of eludes over to more how I choose to use my lasers as a business. So this is the P2S. I know I said that the F1 Ultra was my favorite. This one's my second favorite by just a teeny bit. And that's because this is great for woodworking. And if you haven't noticed, I do a lot of woodworking. The P2S is a CO2 laser. It has the largest bed, so it's about 1 foot by 2 feet. But it also, when you're using the riser base, you can put in a conveyor belt accessory, and I actually do use that a lot. Some people will never touch that. I do definitely use it. I actually built an entire parade float with this machine. I cut 4-foot pieces of wood that I fed through here. I then filled those cuts with acrylic that I cut out by inlaying it back in again to make all the panels for this parade float. Now, speaking of acrylic, this being a CO2 laser is the only machine in xTool's lineup that will be able to cut clear glass or acrylic. All of the other machines technically can't do it. There are little hacky things that you can do to accomplish these tasks, but overall cutting, you're not going to be able to do it unless you use this machine. So if you do a lot of acrylic work, you're going to want to look at this machine, because CO2 lasers are where that capability comes in. Now, this machine is 55 watts, and so it is the most powerful. It can cut through thicker wood and materials than any of the other machines. So for people who need power, this is definitely where I look at in the xTool lineup. My good friend Mike Smirka, he owns Diode Designs out of near Nashville, Tennessee, and he is very well known in the laser community as the king of tumblers. He actually teaches courses online for how to do full tumbler wraps and engravings, so make sure you check out his website that I put down below. Mike has a fleet of P2 and P2Ss, and that's because, from his perspective, when he's running a business and he has a full production laser business, he needs to be able to accommodate whatever job comes his way. He predominantly deals with corporate clients, so he will get orders of 600 tumblers at a time, or I need 1,000 of this particular item, or I need 10,000 keychains. And so being able to have a large bed means that you can do large batch processing, or he can swap it out and have multiple rotaries going for tumblers at the same time. Whatever it may be, this machine will most likely be able to tackle it outside of metal processing. For that, we need a fiber laser, or to at least a certain extent, the 2-watt IR laser in both the S1 or the F1. This machine really can accommodate most things that his business requires, and so he would rather invest a little bit more. This is one of the more expensive machines from xTool, but with the large size, it affords his business a lot of flexibility into what he can undertake. All right, well, I hope you got a good beginner's overview of the differences between these machines. I have a lot of videos on my channel, both on laser engravers as well as starting small businesses. I've owned a lot of businesses in my lifetime, too many, honestly. So I have a lot of knowledge in small businesses, and so I really highly recommend that you go watch a couple of those. It might give you some information that maybe you didn't have before. I always like to tell people that you definitely want to make sure you understand your expenses and other risk factors before you jump into something. And so those videos will kind of outline those types of things too. And of course, I have full in-depth reviews of all of these lasers that you saw today too on the channel. All my friends that I talked about, I have them linked down below too. Go check out their stuff, give them a like, subscribe to them too if they have a channel like that. And I also have linked down below, currently xTool has their biggest sale of the year going on their machines. So I have all the sale details and things and links down there below too, so you should check that out. I hope you got a lot of good content. Hit that like and subscribe button if you did. It's what helps me out. And stay safe in the shop. I'll see you in the next one.